In this video, I'll compare the differences between the Uniqlo Supima Cotton T and the Muji Jersey T, and by the end of it, you can better decide which Japanese conglomerate to part your hard-earned cash with. Let's get to it. The Uniqlo tee is made from Supima cotton, and for those who don't know, it's a superior strain of Pima cotton that's only grown in southwestern US, accounting for less than 1% of global cotton production. It has a staple length of about 38 mm, which means it's an extra long staple cotton. And when we're talking cotton, the longer the staple length, the more durable, softer, and finer it is. Meanwhile, the Muji tee is made from cotton from the region in China. Let's just call it Cotton X. Cotton X can range anywhere from 28 to 39.7 mm depending on the specific strain and climate, so it's hard to say which tee has a longer fiber just by touching it. So, which tee has the better fabric? Well, after about 10 washes each, both tees have resisted peeling and fading, so that's always a good thing. While both tees start off with a smooth hand, the Uniqlo tee has somewhat become less smooth and feels noticeably drier to the hand. The Muji tee, on the other hand, remains as silky smooth as it was from day one, so they're the clear winner here for me. Also, something to note is that despite both tees being made from 100% cotton, which usually can be ironed at high heat, both care labels recommend ironing at medium heat. It's probably to prevent consumers from ruining the cotton polyelastane ribbing, but so far I've been ironing them at high heat and haven't faced any issues. The Uniqlo tee is made in India, while the Muji tee is made in Vietnam, which doesn't really tell you much. A better way is to inspect how each tee is made to get an idea of its quality. First, the binding tape, which runs across the back collar on the Uniqlo tee. On the Muji tee, it runs across from shoulder to back collar to shoulder. For those who don't know, the tape helps to reinforce the fabric and prevent overstretching, and so in this aspect, the Muji tee is more durable. Also, the smooth tape should theoretically feel more comfortable on the skin compared to the exposed overlock stitches on the shoulders of the Uniqlo tee. However, most of you probably won't feel the difference, and the only time you might feel it is, say, when you're carrying a backpack and it rubs against your skin. Even then, the difference might still not be felt, unless you have sensitive skin. More important is how the stitches on the inside will affect how the shirt looks on the outside. The Uniqlo tee has a clean shoulder with no visible stitching, as well as neat lock stitches around the back and front collar. Meanwhile, the Muji tee has two rows of stitching that follows the tape inside, which makes it more casual and has no visible stitching on the front collar. Overall, the Uniqlo tee looks more refined, but these details don't make one shirt better than the other. It just depends on which details you prefer. However, with the exposed stitching on the Muji tee, any stitches that aren't entirely straight will be more obvious, like what I have here. But then again, it's no big deal at this price point. Just make sure you check the stitches before you buy them. Speaking of which, the stitches per inch on both tees at the hem and sleeve hem are within the typical range of t-shirts, so that's that if you're curious. Given the differences in construction so far, unsurprisingly, the Muji tee has other casual details like a taller collar height, a taller hem height, and a wider cover stitch. Practically speaking, this means I'm more likely to pair the refined Uniqlo tee with wool trousers and side-adjusted shorts, and the more casual Muji tee with jeans and cargo pants. Side note, literally, the Uniqlo tag on the inside usually can't be felt but can become annoying when the weather is hot or overly dry, especially if you like tucking in your t-shirts. Thankfully, the Muji tee has no tag and is always comfortable. I wear a size S and both tees fit pretty much similar. Also, I've reduced the sleeve opening on the Uniqlo tee and I'll eventually do the same for the Muji sleeves, so do ignore that. I prefer Muji's fit here as the neck opening is 0.5 cm smaller, and just that little difference creates a much more flattering neckline. Both tees look slightly long on my short body, so I tuck them in most of the time and they stay tucked in all day. So, which is the better tee? Well, it obviously depends on what you prefer, but for my money, it'll have to be Muji. I paid $11.90 for the Muji tee and $9.90 for the Uniqlo tee. For that $2 difference, I'm getting a shirt with a smoother hand, a more durable and casual construction which goes better with my wardrobe, and a more flattering neckline. That said, the Uniqlo tee has way more colors available and is a better option if you like to dress up your t-shirts, or you have a thicker neck, or simply if you want to support American farmers. Although given the complex nature of supply chains, the Supima cotton is probably processed in other parts of the world before being sold in India, so don't get too patriotic. Anyway, if you made it this far, you'll probably like my other hoodie and OCBD comparison videos, so do check them out.